Hey kids, today's show is brought to you by the letter 4 and the number potato! I'm a stupid private.
Hey anime fan, welcome to part 2 of my Sailor Moon The Black Moon Arc retrospective. No sooner are our heroines done battling wood elves from space when the worst possible thing drops right out of the blue. First off, that's messed up. I'll explain why soon. This is Sailor Chibi Moon, aka Rini, aka the little snot I'd most like to feed to Coraline's other mother. But I'm not the only person she's pissed off. She's also being hunted by an evil version of Rainbow Bright's color kids called the Negamoon family. They hail from planet Nemesis.
Was the name Planet Hole already taken?
Apparently, in the distant future, the world was destroyed by a not particularly well-explained cataclysm, so I'm just gonna blame Cthulhu. After that, the Sailor Scouts rebuilt the Old Moon Kingdom, and Serena is now Queen of the Solar System, which apparently disrespects the Negamoon family, so they're gonna rub this dame out, she? They get together a crew and go to town on Krypton, Crystal Tokyo. Now, for some reason, the city's defenses are slow to respond. So with most of the city in ruins, the queen in a death-like sleep, the king MIA, and the rest of the Outer Senshi struggling to hold off the Negamoon onslaught, the coolest of the Outer Senshi, Sailor Pluto, sends Rini back in time to get help from Sailor Moon. So let's look at the new characters in the second part of the Black Moon arc, starting with the new good guys.
I see you're using the words good and guys extremely loosely.
Right, let's get this out of the way. Rini just brings out the worst in me. Rini was sent back in time to find the Silver Millennium Crystal and Sailor Moon, but I really wish Sailor Pluto would have dropped her where something big, scaly, and mean could eat her. Rini has all of Serena's negative traits. She's lazy, whiny, and really kind of dumb. But instead of her mother's
spoiler
kindness, sincerity, and hopeful attitude, Rini's smug, entitled, and unable to function without the support of 4 other girls and a dude in formal wear.
You wanna rethink that last one?
Yeah, okay. The difference is, Rini doesn't appreciate it. But the icing on the cake is, everyone is bending over backwards to be nice to her. But get this, there's one hell of a twist involving Rini right at the end that I won't spoil quite yet. So let's just move on to someone cool, Sailor Pluto. Now, for reasons that are frankly above my pay grade,
i.e. you don't understand them.
The point is, Pluto isn't a planet anymore. But you know what was never a planet? The moon. And there are a frigate's worth of sailors there. Anyway, Sailor Pluto's job is to hang out at a place called the Gates of Time, which is basically a magical time machine.
Like the TARDIS?
No, the TARDIS runs on science.
So they're like the Necronomicon.
No, that runs on evil. Look, it's a big door that you walk through, and you end up more or less wherever you were thinking of.
So the Gates of Time run on plot contrivance?
A little bit, yeah. Personality-wise, Sailor Pluto's kind of what you'd expect from someone who spends so much of their time alone. She's nice, but reserved. Also, she has that same inexplicable soft spot for Rini that everyone has. Lastly, she's a visual standout from the other scouts, who are all bright and colorful, while Pluto, on the other hand, is dark and subdued. Now for the supporting characters. There's 2 that have been around since the last season, but now I think I have enough on them to comment. The first is Chad, Ray's kinda sorta boyfriend guy, maybe. He's an employee at Ray's family shrine, and he more or less does whatever Ray tells him. Don't let his resemblance to Shaggy from Scooby-Doo throw you. He's brave. Stupid, but brave. All in all, he's a good guy. The next is Ray's grandpa. You know, now I think about it, he's probably related to Kagome's grandpa. So Gramps is a lovable goofball, and he and Chad make a good team. Alright, time for the bad guys. The monsters of the day this time around are called droids.
A shame the Negamoon family didn't utilize an HK series assassin droid. It would have easily dispatched any adolescent human meatbags.
The next level up are the soldiers of the family, the 4 sisters. Ladies, introduce yourselves.
My name's Prisma. I'm Avery. My name is Bertie. I'm Catsy, the oldest.
I won't bother with an individual personality breakdown. They're all basically the same catty, vain, mean girls in the icy, stormy Darcy model. Powers-wise, they match up evenly against the 4 Moon Court princesses. Catsy equals Mars, Birdie Mercury, Avery Venus, and Prisma is Jupiter's opposite number. Throughout the course of the season, the sisters are cast out of the group and become good guys. I know that doesn't happen in the manga, but I think it's a really cool idea. It reflects well on the Scouts by showing they're willing to forgive their enemies, and that bad choices don't have to define you. The sisters are under the command of a capo regime named Rubius. There's not a lot to say about him. He's a devilishly handsome diehard Hole, who uses and abuses the sisters. But I like the guy's style. When the chips are down, he goes right for the Independence Day.
There's nothing quite as sweet as using a dreadnought to take out one fire team of teenage girls.
Rubius's fellow woman, is Emerald. Her sole-defining personality trait is that she loves her boss, Prince Diamond. Other than that, she's basically the Baroness without the cool accent, and a laugh as lilting and musical as nails on a chalkboard. That brings us to the underboss of the family, Sapphire. He's the least evil member of the group. His main job is to build these evil mojo devices that are supposed to taint a given area with mondo bad vibes.
Far out, man.
Despite all that, he has some major reservations about the plan to take over the world, Moon.
Of course!
And some reasonable suspicions about the family's consigliere, the Wise Man. Speaking of, there's a guy from a different series. In a show with more than a few canonical examples of what anime characters are supposed to look like, the Wise Man shows up looking like a cheesy Halloween prop. Personality-wise, he's the cold, manipulative type, and he has a habit of passing out magical superweapons with serious health consequences for the user. He's also like the smartest guy on the show. He actually figures out that future Queen Serenity and Sailor Moon are the same person. I know you probably figured it out in about 5 minutes, but for the Wise Man to put it together using only observation and reason puts him on the same level as Sherlock Holmes, L, and Batman in Sailor Moon. The last villain to talk about is the Dawn of the Negamoon family, Prince Diamond. He's a different type of villain. He and his bro Sapphire were brought up by the Wise Man to lead the Negamoon family and given access to the source of the family's power, the Dark Crystal.
Jim Henson's knickknacks are known to be immensely powerful.
Like a proper Godfather, Diamond doesn't mix it up hand-to-hand too often. He's more an MK Ultra mind control type guy. In fact, he moves in on Darian's turf by trying to win Serena over to his side.
But there's only room for one dude who hits on teenage girls on this show.
Now, there is one more villain of note, but we'll get to her in our next section, the plot breakdown. This part of the arc kicks off with Rini dropping out of the sky right onto Serena's meatball head. This leads to an embarrassing,
Read creepy
moment with Darian. Your daughter from the future is still your daughter, man. Meanwhile, Rubius and the Four Sisters have arrived in the 20th century with a mandate from Wise Man to capture Rini, the Silver Crystal, and taint key areas that will become important in the future with dark energy.
Why didn't they just send a killer robot with an Austrian accent back in time instead of these holes?
Serena's day gets a whole lot worse when she gets home and finds that Rini has used some hypnotic voodoo to convince her family that Rini is a long-lost cousin. Throughout the next few episodes, the Scouts and the Sissies duke it out over key locations around Tokyo. But after one failure too many, Catsy gets an ultimatum. Succeed or get fired. Catsy blows it, obviously, but the Scouts let her be a good guy. The next sister to walk is Birdie, who loses a chess match to Mercury. The last two, Avery and Prisma, make a last stand with one of the Wise Man's trinkets that gives you superpowers right before it kills you. But after almost creating a city-destroying singularity, the last two sisters join the good side. With no more pawns to his name, Rubius busts out a dreadnought to stomp the Scouts. This plan works at first. He abducts the team, but they get free and scuttle the ship.
And the captain always goes down with his ship.
The next goon is Emerald, she of the enchanting laugh.
that makes the Joker sound subtle and understated.
Emerald carries on just like Rubius, dispatching droids to help her capture territory. It's also revealed that Rini is the daughter of the future versions of Darian and Serena, making it all the weirder that Darian, who on the instructions from the voice in his head, he's broken up with Serena and ignoring her. This causes Meatball Head to pine like an evergreen forest, overeat, and cry 3 times a day.
Prince Charming, everybody.
So anyway, Rini, with some assistance from Pluto, sends the 5 scouts Tuxedo Mask and the cats into the future, where Prince Diamond's evil is law. This is where things really start taking off, with the revelation of just who broke up Darien and Serena. It was future Darien.
I sense some post-marital regrets.
It's not like that. It's some bull about making sure their love is pure. The next big reveal is that the Wise Man is an ancient evil entity called the Doom Phantom, and he needs Rini to unleash the full power of the Black Crystal to blow the entire Earth to Kingdom Come. Never trust a guy who looks like they dug him up out of some random cemetery in Middle Earth. A lesson Emerald learns too late when the dusky geezer tricks her into putting on a cursed crown that turns her into a dragon, and then a corpse.
Emerald, good riddance. That awful lava verse gave me a migraine.
Finally, the real cause of the Moon Kingdom's failure to defend itself is revealed to be Rini.
You can't blame me. I didn't do it on purpose. It just happened.
No, it really was. She stole the Silver Crystal, the greatest defense of the kingdom, and if not for that, none of this would have happened. So...
You're to blame!
The Wise Man knows exactly how to take advantage of this little simpleton, too.
Glass houses, Private. Glass houses.
Rini goes over to the dark side and becomes the last villain of the Black Moon arc, the Wicked Lady. So she and the old geezer head back to the past, i.e. the present, to blow up Earth. But there's one last roadblock. Sapphire has stolen a mission-critical MacGuffin, but the poor guy gets axed by Wise Man. This is finally too much for Prince Diamond, but he's no match for his former mentor either.
Good night, sweet prince.
The scouts need to face down the Doom Phantom and the Wicked Lady, but with the power of friendship, or something, they finally break through to Rini, and the little snot finds that the Silver Crystal was within her the whole time. Together, Princess Serena and Small Lady Rini blast the Doom Phantom back to Mordor.
Yay!
I missed this part of the Black Moon arc the first time I saw Sailor Moon, and I don't think it's particularly well remembered. It's kinda different from the previous arc and a half. One of the main differences is the presence of Rini. For the life of me, I can't figure out why she's portrayed as such a brat. I think I understand why she's on the show. She's the surrogate for the target audience. But if that's true, well...
Maybe the writers hate kids.
There are also a lot more villains than in the previous part of the Black Moon arc. And I think I like the Black Moon family better than the Dark Kingdom. It was cool to see the 4 sisters change their evil ways. This both humanizes the villains and makes the scouts look better by displaying the advanced trait of mercy. Prince Diamond and Sapphire are also cool. Their relationship is just glanced over, but it's way more development than Queen Beryl got. I'm also fond of the Wise Man. He's basically the analog for Queen Metalia, but he's better at it, playing the scheming vizier right up until the end. He's also got a fairly neat voice, and I think the Wicked Lady is just great. She's exactly what you get if you gave a spoiled brat superpowers. Angry and spiteful with a vendetta against anyone who ever made the unforgivable mistake of telling her no. Her look is cool as well. She's basically an evil, corrupted Sailor Moon. I actually really wish they would have kept her in the villain role for a bigger part of the arc. Made her like the lead henchman or something, and only revealed at the end that she was actually Serena and Darien's daughter. Actually, there is something weird about Rini's attachment to Darien. They go out of their way to position Rini as a rival to Serena for Darien's affection, which is weird. Also, what the... was King Darien thinking about convincing his past self to break up with Serena? Is he trying to... up the timeline? And that make sure their love is pure was some bull. It's just so much forced relationship contrivance. Lastly, one of the reasons I like Serena as the leader of the Scouts is that she's kind of average. She's not one of those impossibly gifted, superior forms of life destined for greatness from the very start, that show up as heroes in so much sci-fi and fantasy. But finding out she grows up to be Galadriel, Queen of the Solar System, kinda sorta kills the relatability right there. But all in all, I'm not gonna call this the best of Sailor Moon, but it's definitely more of it. So if you're a fan of Sailor Moon, see the Black Moon arc. My next Sailor Moon review will be a review of Sailor Moon R, the movie. So stay tuned for that. Well, that was fun.
So much dark energy in this place. Enough for me to rebuild the Black Crystal and destroy those pathetic sailor scouts. Then I'll head back to Gondor, and we'll see who gets stabbed in the face this time.
Hey, Cloaky, that there's our dark energy. Keep your boner paws off it.
Oh yeah? What are you gonna do about it, Tin Man? This interloper appears to be of the incorporeal variety. Physical violence will be ineffective.
That's fine. Bustin' makes me feel good.
Huh. Hey, why is this empty ghost trap hooked up to the coffee maker?
One day I will be free, and then I will have my vengeance.